Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Saturday morning here in Phuket, Thailand, and it's a beautiful day. Having said that, we just had a very quick, I suppose you'd call it like a sun shower, lasted about 30 seconds to a minute. Raced outside, grabbed the washing, but everything's fine. No matter where you are in the world, I hope you're having a great day, and we'll do our best to try and keep you entertained and informed over the next hour. Now, I've got plenty of questions that people have posed in the last day, which of course we'll attend to, and just of course asking you if you can hear me, making sure everything's okay, and we'll proceed. I've got lots and lots of questions to get through, not only in the forum that have come up in the last 20 minutes, but I'll give you a like for Tim's handsome smile. So there's also plenty of questions from yesterday. But part of the theme of the program today is going to be, well, as you can see, everything old is new again. And the question whether Thailand's going to be, with this new government, propelling itself into a bright new future, or whether it's going to be same but different. Thailand has never really in the past had a sort of a revolutionary change, apart from what happens in the government from time to time with coups and various things. The wheels of the public service keep sort of winding out new roads and a new rail line here, and the life doesn't really change that much for Thai people. If you look back over the last 30 or 40 years, there's no big revolutionary change, and subsequent governments have come and gone, military governments, civilian governments, almost democratically elected governments, but they don't really fundamentally change the way that Thailand works. So I thought it might be interesting for us to consider what that might mean for us as people who live here, as people who love Thailand, as people who might be coming to Thailand in the future, or people that have been here in the past and have fallen in love with the country. And of course, for those people that just love whinging about Thailand and anything to do with it. Of course, we get plenty of those on the comment section as well. I do my best to try and, well, at least give them the facts and let them go from there. But hello to everybody. So somebody asking me, how did you suddenly look 20 years younger? Yeah, the thumbnail photo was taken about 4 years ago. And well, thanks to good lighting and a good photographer, that's what happens. So it's an oldie but goodie. So yeah, everything old is new again. Having said that, I'm getting older. We're all getting older. We're all getting older at around about approximately the same speed as each other. And as people say, I'm almost 60 years old, but approaching it from the wrong direction. Hi Tim, can you explain how Move Forward Party won the election, but another party got their choice into the PM spot? Is this good or fair for elections and the masses? This is from Between Drinks. Whew, that's such a big question. I'll try and answer it quickly because I know some people are bored sideways by politics, but it is important from the I suppose the edge that we live here, or we love Thailand, and decisions that are made in Parliament will at some stage reflect on our lives here, as well as, of course, the lives of Thai people. So, okay, if you want to start saying, what was it a democratic election? Well, people say, Move Forward Party won the election. Well, that's not quite right. They got the highest number of MPs in the Parliament, 161 MPs out of a possible 500 seats, 500 districts, if you like. So 500 MPs, they won 161 seats. The party that got the second highest number of primary votes was the Per Thai Party. And then Phumjai Thai with 71, and on it goes. The military parties, the big losers. They sort of got much fewer votes than they were expected to get. In Bangkok, there are 33 districts. The Move Forward Party won 32 of those 33 districts. Bangkok, usually the heartland of the Thai elite, and the military the military-backed parties, the conservative parties, were completely wiped out in Bangkok, and that was a big pointer to things happening. Something quality. Apologies if there's been a stream quality problem. Anyway, so a lot of things happening here. We've got the cleaner. We've got the guys out the back doing the whippersnippers. You might hear that in the background. I could always go and close the door if it's a problem. You tell me if it is. But with the Constitution back in 2017 says that if a party doesn't get a simple majority, and that'd be 251 MPs, and Move Forward only got 161, then all the parties have an opportunity to try and pull together a coalition to get that 251 majority. So the Move Forward party tried with Pheu Thai to pull together a majority and get their prime minister, their prime ministerial nominee, Pita Limjaroenrat, over the line. Now the situation is slightly stacked in Thailand with 250 senators. If there's no simple majority, they get the opportunity to vote for a prime minister. So they didn't want a young progressive prime minister, so they said no. Then the Pheu Thai party tried to pull together its own coalition. They did so by eventually pulling in some of the older conservative parties to form a coalition which eventually had 314 MPs, well over the number required. So it was done entirely legally under the constitution that they had. So it was a free and fair election from that point of view. So just because you get the highest number of MPs voted doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the opportunity to form a government, and that's what happened in this case. Now we've ended up with an outsider prime minister. He's a former real estate mogul, 6'3", Seta Tawisin. I'm doing my best. And he seems to be hitting the ground running, and we'll have a talk soon about some of the things he's been doing in the last 2 days. Only in the job for 2 days, and he's been out and about talking things up. So it seems to me, just looking at him, that he's got the bearing, he's got a good manner with people, and he seems to be saying all the right things at this stage. So it's all very well to poo-poo what's happened here in the Thailand election, but we don't have any say. A decision has been made by the Thai Parliament, and we'll just have to see how it rolls out. And we'll criticise it if we feel we need to, and report on things that are happening. And hopefully, as per the theme of this particular program, we can report about some of the changes that are coming up for the Thai people. From a legislative point of view, we'll go through those things that are coming up in the next 6 months, and also some infrastructure sort of updates, because they're the things that I suppose drive both the society and the economy. Kurt, hello. Askin says, good morning, Tim. Collingwood have finished the AFL season on top. Collingwood is one of the teams in the Australian Football League. I'm a Collingwood supporter. Apologies to Australians who disagree with me on that. So that's the situation there. A big thank you, by the way. We had a super chat come in. Thank you very much to Norel. Norel, I really appreciate your kind support of the program. Hi, Tim. Just a message of thanks sent from Brisbane, Australia, which is that's the capital of the northern state of Queensland. I'm almost more familiar with the capitals and the provinces here in Thailand these days. Your program is the only news program I watch daily, along with Grumpy Old Men on Sundays. Keep up the great work. Grumpy Old Men out and about tomorrow. We sat in a restaurant with a lot of noise and people and food. And so that's on tomorrow. Thank you very much, Norel. Really appreciate your support. So a lot of people in the chat section. Is Scott D, good evening from Chicago, where a heat index temperature yesterday broke written records. I noticed that you've been having some very, very hot weather there. I'm not unfamiliar with hot weather, but I understand that might be a bit of a surprise for people in Chicago. So look after yourself. Certainly some record heat is hitting parts of the United States at the moment, especially down there in Fulton County. Ross Kennedy, the new government looking at tourism, which is only 10 to 12% of GDP. What about farming and manufacture? manufacturing, which is 60% GDP, and looking at exports, which is floundering. Ross, interesting topic. I'll try and answer that just very briefly. Usually when people talk about tourism, they say with direct and indirect expenditure or spending. So direct being, direct tourism dollars being spent in the country, and indirect with things like a family moving to Thailand and spending money in a private school or something like that. That's indirect spending, but it's as a result of tourism because that family had to move here to be the CEO of a hotel or whatever. But they say that figure is usually around about 20%. And over the years, I'd say that direct and indirect spending is pretty well agreed to be about a fifth of Thailand's GDP. Now that also takes in things like local tourism as well. So it's a big part of the economy, yes. Certainly with Per Thai twiddling the levers at the moment with the Thai economy, we'll see a lot more support, I think, for the farming sector. They've been pretty much ignored over the past, 9 years, and I think you'll see more support, and it was certainly part of the manifesto in the Per Thai government's pre-election promises that they were going to be helping farmers. They've certainly done so in the past, so I think you can expect more money going towards the agricultural sector. And as far as car manufacturing is concerned, it's booming at the moment. I noticed car sales had dropped over the past couple of months, but the output of car manufacturing has gone up, and that means that a lot of them are being exported. The export numbers have dropped generally the last month. I haven't actually had a good read of that article, but so look, those numbers go up and down, but I think there's a lot of investment at the moment with EVs. We've now got, I think, 4 Chinese companies moving manufacturing facilities, or not necessarily moving them, but opening up new manufacturing facilities here in Thailand. I've got BYD, MG, GWM, and there's another one that was announced last week. I can't remember the name. Fairly ordinary looking cars, I thought. But I think there's still a lot of money being thrown into Thailand regarding car manufacturing. Good morning from Hua Hin, says Bill O'Neill. Thumper Squid. Hello, wonderful people. Fun-sized media. I'm still weighing the pros and cons of a Thai marriage visa. Look, when it comes to visas, and you don't have a visa, you're looking to come to Thailand, you're shopping around for visas. One thing you can do with a visa agent, good morning, Clive, is that you can usually get a sort of an initial free consultation before they start charging you for their services. And I would always say that that's a pretty good deal. That if you can contact a visa agent, they know what's happening. They're doing this every single day, and they can give you some advice. Go to 2 or 3 visa agents, shop around, have a talk to your friends, do lots of homework to decide what visa is going to suit you. At the end of the day, we all have whinges about our visas, and of course the possibility that there may be some changes in the future. That's a guarantee. Whether it's going to happen in 5 months, 6 months, 5 years, 10 years, there will be changes to the visas, whether you like it or not. And certainly the Deputy Police Commissioner has been talking that up over the past couple of weeks. People not happy that we're reporting that. But it's up to us to keep you up to date with any rumours or news or things that might be mooted. It is going to happen. So it's best for us to be forearmed, forewarned, and be ready, and to be able to react accordingly. So good luck with that if that Thai marriage visa is going to suit you. Hello from Austria from Stefan. Hello to you. I won't be able to say hello to everybody, and I suppose generally it's fairly boring YouTube, isn't it? So Steve Ross can be everywhere for sure, not with my... I don't think that... Thomas Hamilton, hello from Calif, Northern California, I suppose. Another nice day in paradise. Hello from Konkan, where it's 28 degrees and sunny. This is from Gurn. Hello to you. And we had another super chat come in, so I better acknowledge that. Khmer Hydro from Australia, it seems. So thank you very much. Khmer Hydra, you might be Cambodian or been to Cambodia or something. When I used to live in a place called Yarraville near Melbourne, was probably, I don't know, the best 10 years of my life. I had a wonderful time. Actually, I'm having a wonderful time now. But my favourite restaurant in Yarraville used to be a little Cambodian restaurant. Had restaurants from all sorts of places, but I really enjoyed the little Cambodian restaurant. I can't even remember its name now. And Sleeveless in Siam says, good morning from Rawai. Now, people sometimes accuse us of talking too much about Phuket. I really don't. I go out of my way to make sure I balance the news and where we're reporting on. But let's just go around the country and have a bit of a, I don't know, summary of what's sort of happening and see if we can get a feeling of what's happening with the current investment with projects in different parts of the country to try and delve into the brains of the other people running the country at the moment. Now, we've got on our computer, as I click here, this is from today, the Bangkok Post reporting the PM sets out big plans for Phuket. And the PM is currently in Phuket. He arrived yesterday and he'll be here today as well. He's visiting the Phang Nga area today, and I'll explain why soon. I've got a friend who runs a Khao Lak hotel who the Prime Minister and his entourage happen to be staying at. So that's why I know a little bit about this. So why is the Prime Minister visiting Phuket? Well, the Prime Minister, Seta Thavisin, has pledged to boost tourism in Phuket and expand its airport capacity to prepare for a likely surge in international arrivals before the high season in November. I would have thought there's not much they can do between now and November to increase the capacity of the airport. I mean, Phuket Airport's had a lot of money spent on it in the past. We've got a whole international terminal now. There's another story. Where is it? As I sort of go down, this story, and we'll report on this a bit later. It says PM urged to back Phang Nga Airport. I'll have a talk about that in a sec. But I love the photo they used. I think it's Phuket Airport in about 1920. Well, obviously not 1920, but it's at least, I'd say, 30 years old. So they keep on rattling out that same old photo. But yeah, interesting that it seems that this particular government is going to be focusing a lot of its attention as far as tourism's concerned down here in the south. Places like Phuket, Krabi and Phang Nga, which they see, I suppose, as an opportunity to, with infrastructure already in place and future opportunities. They've been talking of like a whole wellness hub here in Phuket, and they can't really expand the airport in Phuket because the runway, for example, they can't make it any, they can't go east because there's Tep Kasat 3 Road. They can go west, but they'd be heading out into the Andaman Sea. That's certainly possible, but we'd still only have one east-west runway. There's no room for another 3 kilometre long runway, and they'd need a runway of 3 kilometres to land something like an A380, the big double-decker jumbo jet from Airbus. Now, within the current airport, they can already land 747-400s. They used to have a regular shuttle with Thai Airways between Phuket and Bangkok with the 747-400. An unlikely choice, but that's what they did. So they can get big planes down, but really there's no other place in Phuket where they could currently find enough land for a new airport and a 3 kilometre long runway. The only place actually would be, well, quite close to the current airport, which of course would be silly, having 2 international airports nearby. Hence the reason they're looking north to a lot of vacant land up there in Phang Nga. And we'll talk about more of that in a moment. But let's have a talk about Pattaya. What money, what big infrastructure projects are going there? I mean, I know there's ongoing work on all the roads. Seems to be more maintenance rather than forward planning. There's been this promised monorail, and Lyle Landley. I remember that episode from The Simpsons well. And that just doesn't seem to be going anywhere. It's sort of going about as fast as the planned Patong Tunnel that's been in planning for, I don't know, 2 or 3 decades, never seems to get any closer. Same with this monorail to ferry people around the town. And when it comes to international arrivals, I mean, you've got Suvarnabhumi, which is what, 2 hour drive, comfortable 2 hour drive from Pattaya. And they've got the Utapao airport, and again, they've been promising lots of investment to the Utapao airport. But as we speak today, very few flights flying in there, either internationally or domestically. So that seems to be in some sort of mothball situation, the expansions to the Utapao airport. I mean, they seem to be tinkering around the edges, and it's got a perfectly good runway and can service large planes. But it seems that at the moment, Suvarnabhumi, only 2 hours away, is going to be the best offering for the majority of flights taking people into Chonburi, Pattaya and Rayong. Rayong. Sometimes get that wrong. Now, when we're talking about Chiang Mai, this week they were announcing new plans for an airport expansion in Chiang Mai. When the government starts talking about airport expansion, that means they're talking about increased tourism. So it seems that Chiang Mai and Phuket seem to be getting the gist of the majority of the government's love at the moment. Not so much this new government alone, but the past government, their parting gestures were to get these reports made to expand these 2 airports. Krabi airports are currently going through quite a major expansion, car parking terminals, new gates, and so I really think the government is focusing a lot of its tourism attention to both the south of Thailand with Pattaya, Phuket, Phang Nga and Krabi, and then up in the north around Chiang Mai. Again, Chiang Rai, a beautiful area, but not a lot of talk about what they're doing at the Chiang Rai airport. So where they're spending the money, where they're throwing the money, I think is where we're going to see the government focusing its attention for tourism growth in the future. I think another interesting thought with a place like Pattaya, for example, is that there's been this push over the past, 10 years that I've been here, nearly 13 years actually, that Pattaya is going to be sort of evolved, morphed into a family-friendly location. I mean, Pattaya is not known as a place for families. Let's face it, it's a worldwide recognised as a great location for horizontal activities and as a red light district, and it does that very well. It's very well organised and well patronised by people that enjoy that sort of entertainment. The prospect of Pattaya becoming a family-friendly location, I think, is quite low. It will always have this reputation unless they throw a lot of money at it. Now, the EEC, the Eastern Economic Corridor, was a big policy of the last government, backed by the junta, but there's been limited amount of manufacturing and investment that's gone into that area. But at the end of the day, it will fuel growth in that area. And the high-speed rail that was going to link Dom Muang, Bangkok, Suvarnabhumi and Pattaya, that's still going ahead, fueled by growth in the Eastern Economic Corridor, but that seems to be a long way off again. They haven't bought up any land, they haven't started laying tracks, and they still seem to be fighting about contracts. So let's go to Hua Hin, and recently they've been talking about expansions at that airport as well. So the government throwing money at Hua Hin to increase its capacity to be able to take larger planes, international flights, got a perfectly good airport and runway. So once again, the government talking about spending money at the Hua Hin airport. You go to Bangkok, Bangkok, because it's now seen as sort of a move forward party, what would you call it? Completely taken over by Move Forward Party. I'm not sure whether it's going to get much money thrown at it at the moment. No big talk of big projects in Bangkok at the moment. I mean, it's already a big international thriving city. I'm not sure what they can really do. There's no talk of any new airports. They are going to be expanding, I think, and improving facilities at Don Muang. They need at least one new walkway, I know that. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going to be happening with investment in Bangkok in the future. Being a stronghold for the Move Forward Party, they may not get as much love from the current government as they did in the past. Then, of course, you've got the high-speed train, which is going to be built from Bangkok up to the Lao border at Nong Khai. Currently, the track between Bangkok and Nakhon Ratchasima is about, I think they say, 60% finished. They haven't even started the tracks from Nakhon Ratchasima, which is up sort of the gateway to Isan, up to Nong Khai. But they're saying that that's going to be ready by 2027. Now that will link Bangkok to the Lao border, to the Chinese high-speed rail through Laos, and then up into China, which links, of course, into the Chinese high-speed rail system. There might be a day where we'll be able to have a high-speed rail all the way from, say, Beijing, down through Laos, Bangkok, south through Thailand, through Malaysia, down to Singapore. I think that would be the eventual plans, but at the moment, no plans for a high-speed rail from Bangkok down to the southern border of Thailand. So that particular full project or link all the way through is sort of a new Eastern Railway high-speed rail from Beijing down to Singapore. That's just a pipe dream at the moment. Okay, I'm going to have a bit of a drink because I'm coughing and spluttering a bit here. So let's see what people are saying about all this, because there's quite a lot to take in. Tim has an aging portrait in his attic. So what you're talking about there. Great show as always. Greetings from Los Angeles, says Dean. Used to spend quite a lot of time in the creative industry there in Los Angeles. I'm in Braybrook, just up the road, says Marcus. Yeah, nice part of the world all around there. Peter Thompson, I'm a bit shocked to find you are a Collingwood supporter. You appear to have all your teeth. You come across as intelligent and you're not on unemployment benefits. Go the Blues. Thank you, Peter, very much. Gloria says, James Guy, yes, Sunday was fun with all the rain. California, earthquakes, wildfires, mudslides, droughts, flooding, massive state taxes, and now hurricanes. I'm out, says Sleeveless in Siam. Wasn't much of a hurricane, was it? I mean, I think there was a lot of rain and plenty of wind, but I don't think it was ever quite a hurricane, or it certainly petered out by the time it got to most of California, from what I've read anyway. Hello, morning, appreciate TNT News. This is from Dr. Clarician Science Tifi. Okay, sorry. Bill O'Neill, residential home building in Hua Hin is going nuts. New projects everywhere. Yeah, I think there are some places in Thailand that are getting a bit rusty at the moment, and there are other places that are sort of booming along. I mean, the odd thing that's happened here in Phuket over the past 7 or 8 months is we've had this huge influx of Russian people, for better or for worse, and let's not get into discussing the situation in Russia. I don't care. It's not important to what we're talking about here. But this huge influx of new expats has done a lot to drive the economy here in Phuket. A lot of new homes being built. All the condos, the backlog of condos have sort of been picked up. A lot of new cars on the road, like a lot, such that we can palpably see an increase in traffic over the past 6 months. But other parts of Thailand are not getting the same sort of attention from either tourists or a new influx of expats. So Hua Hin seems to be one of those locations that is currently prospering. Be careful of the escalators and travelators, says M. Maranta. Yes, indeed. Newman Lord, just waiting for government to open property ownership for foreigners. Current legislation not favourable to investors. Newman, this is a really interesting situation. The Thai government have been very protectionist when it comes to foreign investment regarding the ownership of land. Do I think that's going to change? Probably not. You can get a very expensive smart visa and make some investment in land. I mean, yeah, well, with a BOI registered company, you can purchase land in Thailand, but yeah, they're pretty high bars, and not just the average family or the average Joe coming here to retire and buying a quarter-acre block and putting up a home. That's just not going to happen, I don't think. So, yeah, I don't know if that's going to change. I don't see any mention from any MPs or parties about changing those laws about foreign ownership of land. Question, so will Phuket be international and other domestic or the other way around? Yeah, I mean, if they do, I do want to speak a bit more about this airport in a moment. Look, I might do that, answer your question when I do get to that in just a moment. We are out too, says Gloria. I suppose speaking about Los Angeles, we are quitting our teaching jobs at the end of this school year. Maybe soon. Our sister school has a threat and went on lockdown. If you're talking about Los Angeles, probably not a place to do it here in the forum. The road to the east could be put in a tunnel. The road to the east could be put in a tunnel. Oh, this is talking about Phuket International Airport. Yes, it could be put into a tunnel, but just making the runway longer in Phuket is just going to compound the problem, because although you'll be able to get a few larger aircraft into the airport, the possibility of processing those people is very limited. The thing is, Phuket Airport's somehow constrained by hotels on one side, businesses on the other, big international roads, 4-lane highways on another. It's confined, so they can't expand their terminals for a whole lot of extra passengers. So they do have to look beyond that airport to expand the number of tourists being able to arrive here. Absolutely no need for another airport in Phuket, says Grunt Max. A total waste of money. Road traffic far too congested on Phuket roads. Yeah, you're right. It's all very well getting all these extra tourists, but what are you going to do with them? Getting around Phuket at the moment is it's become, let's face it, it's become a nightmare. There are times of the day where I know I'm just not going to go out onto the roads, or if I need to just pop around to the shops a kilometre away, I'll jump on the motorbike rather than bothering getting in the car, because the motorbike you can scoot around the traffic, whereas in a car you just got to go literally 2 kilometres. Like there's a place called Robinson, a big shopping centre about 2 kilometres away. The other day it took me an hour to get 2 kilometres. I thought, oh, this is just ridiculous. So there's a lot of other things that need to be sorted out. Public transport's the biggest issue here in Phuket. The taxi mafia have held that back for 20 years. And whilst they maintain this cabal of the taxi monopoly, it's going to make it very difficult. How do they break the taxi monopoly? Nobody's been able to do it over 20 years. Governments, army coups, special police consignments, all sorts of things they've tried. Infiltration into the groups. Yeah, it's a whole story in itself. Return to Thailand says, I'm just completely randomly picking these up because I don't have anybody to help me. And Dina can't read English. They were talking about another in Hua Hin, and there's no international flights at this time. Yeah, sure, they're talking it up. But the talking up is usually a prelude to nothing happening or something happening. So I think you can assume, and I think you can see around the current airport in Hua Hin, that they are spending quite a lot of money on sort of consolidating that property. And I think that would be foreshadowing some expansion of the airport in Hua Hin. Bill O'Neill says, hopefully we get Hua Hin Airport up and running soon. They're making a lot of improvements right now. Yes, that's correct, Bill, and I think something is definitely happening there. Tara Tangron, hello from Chantaburi. Sorry about the pronunciation. If I've got a few moments to study, I can get... Anyway. Local government push agro-tourism, big road build to transport fruit to China. Yeah, I think part of the reason to push for this high-speed train is to be able to transport fruit and keep it fresh and get it into China. China, still a big export market for Thai fruits and agricultural products. Sleeveless in Siam, I would just like a centre turn lane on the major roads and get back for property on the main road so cars and trucks don't block a full lane when stopped at a shop. Another thing that really annoys me about Thai traffic maintenance or Thai traffic management is all these U-turns that you have to travel a kilometre up one road and everybody banks up trying to do a U-turn. That's the way they do it here, and it does not seem to be terribly useful and quite dangerous from time to time. Come on everyone, says Rachel, don't forget to hit the like button. Rachel, thank you very much. And yeah, if you do get a moment, hit that like button, it's always appreciated. Saw Steve Ross show last night, The Turtle is looking great, says Thumper Squid. Yes, Steve Ross with an E. He's got a YouTube channel and plenty of very entertaining stuff on that. And Steve will be joining me tomorrow with Grumpy Old Men. And that'll be up about 8:30 in the morning. So let's see what this Prime Minister is doing down here in Thailand. And Mr. Seta and members of the Pheu Thai Party's Tourism Policy Committee, led by Dr. Promin, visited Phuket yesterday to engage with locals and gather opinions. At the Phuket airport, Mr. Seta and his team met with the airport's management. He later met with members of the private sector in Phuket at the Ramada Plaza Chow Phar Hotel. It's only about a 3-star hotel. Very popular with Chinese tourists. I wonder why they met there. He told the attendees that even though Pheu Thai did not win a single house seat in Phuket, he still attaches huge importance to the island and chose to visit the province first after he was elected Prime Minister. He said, "We have to forget about politics but think of the country's best interests. Pheu Thai does not have a single MP." He went on to say that tourism will play a crucial role in boosting the economy in the fourth quarter. Tourism is the best way to spur growth in the short term when the economy slows down. I'm here not to give orders, but to listen to and gather opinions. The reason I chose to visit Phuket is because I believe tourism will peak in the fourth quarter. So words there from the new Prime Minister as he visits. So he did in fact visit the Phuket airport yesterday. But let's go to this story as well. The PM urged to back the Phang Nga airport, and tourism operators in the Andaman province are urging the new Prime Minister to invest in a new airport in Phang Nga. So do you want me to bring up a map? Or it's just the province directly north of Phuket. So if you go to the north of Phuket, there's a 300-metre road bridge, and you cross over that, takes 20 seconds, and you're in the province of Phang Nga. And Phang Nga is very beautiful, but it's got a lot of spare land compared to Phuket. It's got a long stretch of beaches, including one where I'm moving to in about 3 weeks' time. So you'll see new backdrops behind me soon. But yeah, there's plenty of land there in Phang Nga, and that would be servicing places like Khao Lak, Khao Sok National Park, Suratani, even Krabi with some larger planes. And of course, it'll be servicing Phuket as well. Interesting thing about the current airport, where I'm moving to in a place called Thai Muang, which is in Phang Nga, is closer driving time to the Phuket International Airport than my current place in Phuket. So it's not that far away. The council plans to propose a long-term plan to the new government that includes a new airport in Kok Loi, which is only about 10 minutes over the bridge. He said the new airport is necessary for the Andaman province as expansion at the Phuket airport has reached maximum capacity while tourist demand for the south has grown rapidly after the pandemic. Based on a previous study for a potential airport in Phang Nga, he said the new facility could have the longest runway in Thailand, which could accommodate the large aircraft such as 747 Airbus A380. Phuket Airport can handle 747-400, as I said. It's not the runway length in the Phuket Airport that's the problem. It's just the expansion of the actual terminal to allow and process more passengers. Probably even bigger problem is the car parking there at the moment, which is completely inadequate. So there seems to be talk about this new airport in Phang Nga, and a lot of rumours. Speaking to some of the tourism people up there in recent days, it looks like it's going to happen. And good morning to the cleaning lady, who's doing a wonderful job. To link the three Andaman provinces with the new airport, Mr. Pongsakorn said the council would propose an electric bus project to Mr. Seta. Bus services would carry passengers from the airport to Phuket within an hour and Krabi within 2 hours. Look, yes, no use just building an airport. You've got to build the traffic infrastructure to be able to support these airports. I think one of the problems with Pattaya, for example, is that the Utapao airport's a 45-minute drive from Pattaya. It probably needs to be a lot closer if it's going to serve that particular town. And you need the investment to drive the tourism. But as I said, it seems that the government is currently happy as far as Pattaya is concerned with the current arrangement of a 2-hour trip from Suvarnabhumi down to the Pattaya foreshore. So that goes on. Phang Nga has 150 hotels, 17,000 rooms. If the government agrees to build the new airport, the province will draw more investment. There's plenty of room for investment there. It's a bit of an uncarved block with tourism very sort of low level. There's no high-rise buildings. There's no huge nightclubs. It's much more sort of laid-back type of tourism in the Phang Nga area. But I think like Hua Hin, it could be a very popular place for retirees and for people looking for a quieter side of life here in Thailand without necessarily, and beach life, without necessarily going to Phuket, Pattaya, even Hua Hin as it becomes more popular. Very wet last night in Chiang Rai. Lots of talk about upgrading the airport for 10 years. Also talk of railway coming here, which seem to have died away. Roadworks are everywhere, some pointless. Thomas John Robinson. I think there is going to be investment at the Chiang Mai airport. Chiang Rai. Yeah, I think that's an issue that Chiang Mai seems to be getting all the love as far as in infrastructure and investment is concerned. What's it take 1.5, 2 hours to drive to Chiang Rai? You might like to remind me, Thomas. But Chiang Rai, a very beautiful part of the world up there near the Burmese border. Scott, thank you very much. Keep up the great work. Scott D, great supporter of the program. Long-term supporter, I think I can say, but I do appreciate your support, Scott, and thank you very much for your generous support this morning. John Freeney, instead of spending money on new airports and high-speed trains, spending it on cleaning up the usual everyday rubbish, build rubbish tips and employ more people to pick up the excess rubbish. John, that's a perfectly good suggestion. But I think in many ways, if you want to attract tourists, you want to attract more tourists, you need to be building the infrastructure to be able to handle the tourists and move them round. As far as picking up rubbish is concerned, look, some areas are better than others. Some provincial governments are better than others. Certainly around this particular area, we don't have rubbish lying around. We have a very good regular rubbish pickup. And in some ways, some Thai communities see the removal of rubbish as less important than other things. Just different priorities. But I know what you mean, John. I think they could invest a lot of money just in rubbish bins and empty them regularly and allow us to, of course, deposit our rubbish in those bins. That would be something, but I think that's a local government thing, and I'm not sure if that's sort of really included in the same argument as these major infrastructure projects, but certainly let's hope it happens in the future. To John Cagney with a G. John, thank you very, very much. Also from the United States. John, which part of the United States are you in? Coming to Thailand in the future, been here in the past? But John, thank you very much. And to Hans C. Schellenberg, a great show as always. Hans, thank you very much. Where are you at the moment, Hans? In Redwood, California? Seem to have a lot of people in California. I suppose that's the closest state to Thailand. I don't know, is it? Go on. Get picked up on that. Okay, so U-turns are a Thai thing, says Stefan. I used to be quite nervous about them, but became indifferent. Yeah, it's just part. If you're going to drive around Thailand, get used to lots of these U-turns, which do, in my mind, tend to slow things down. Wider roads equals more parking places, says Guzzy Jack. Eileen Morris Duke. Hey, Tim, I like this time frame better. Eileen, we're going to sort of keep on mixing things up. Next week I'll probably be doing it on Friday night, 8 p.m. Thai time again. But I do want to sort of mix it up and try to involve different audiences and let everybody have an opportunity to have their say, express their opinion, throw a few topics in. Speaking of which, I haven't even started talking about some of the questions that came in the last few days. I'll get to those right now. Can we boycott talking about possible changes to retiree visas until a credible announcement is made? This from Shuttleman Jack. Look, I'll do my very best not to talk about it, but at the end of the day, I think it's important that if there are any rumours, especially when it comes to rumours, or not so much rumours, but solid comments made by the Deputy Police Chief, we do need to air those and discuss them. But I'm not going to be boycotting it, but I'm trying to not stir up any fear. I'm just trying to pass on the information as it becomes available. Hello from Petchabun. I've been a fan since you started. Thank you very much. What happened? Suddenly you look 20 years younger. That was the comment about the thumbnail today. It's only 4 years ago, all right? Hi Tim, I'm interested in your thoughts on the Thai economy going forward. Exports are continuing to drop much more than predicted, and in my opinion, it's not just the slowing world economy, it's also because of the high baht, which is also affecting tourism. The baht is high against all currencies except the USD, which is about average now over 15 years. Yes, 50% of trade is in US dollars, but the rest is not, and most tourism is paid for in local currency. Do you think the new government will push the baht lower through lowering both the interest rates and tax rates, by increasing government spending, and by selling their Thai baht reserves and buying other currencies? I don't know. Good question, covering a lot of territory there. Thank you very much to Aussie Bob. I don't think we're going to see any wholesale changes in the financial outlook for Thailand. The Thai baht seems to be, from some outlook, from outside Thailand, artificially high. As to why that is, I don't know. It's a freely traded currency, and I don't think there's any fiddling going on. I think you're assuming that the Reserve Bank here in Thailand is much more clever than they probably are. But the Thai baht seems to be holding up. We call it the Teflon Thai baht, because everything that happens here with coups and tsunamis and floods doesn't do much to affect the Thai baht, well, for at least any extended amount of time. As far as the high baht causing a problem with tourism, well, still tourists coming here at the moment, and it will be an economic decision for some people that the baht is just too high for them, especially Russians at the moment. The ruble falling against the Thai baht quite a lot of recent times, and that's going to slow down this influx of Russian tourists into Thailand. Same with China being the number one driver of tourism numbers at the moment, both nationally and I checked during the week here in Phuket. The problems in the Chinese economy, that's going to reflect. But I don't really have an answer for you, Aussie Bob. There are a lot of different influences on what controls the height or the strength of the Thai baht. I think you've covered it really well with the questions that you've asked, the rhetorical questions, and let's see what other people say in the comments section, and I'll read out those responses very soon. And thank you to all the people that are tuned in at the moment. Saturday morning here, currently 51 minutes past 9. I think we used to say 9 to 10 in the old days. And a beautiful day here on the southern island of Phuket. Question: has the proposed 300 Thai baht arrival tax been dropped? It's been deferred. The new government obviously going to attend to that. My gut feeling is it's going to be dropped, and they'll be coming up with something new. The old tourism and sports minister's gone, so I think that will be shelved, at least in the short term. There may be other taxes imposed on people, but I think that arrival tax is pretty much dead on arrival at the moment. The new Prime Minister came to Phuket today, talking about yesterday. This from Silver Bear. He actually walked up Bangla Road in Patong. Perhaps that could be a sign that this new Prime Minister wants to improve many things here, such as different projects, infrastructure. Well, I think if you can read all that from him walking up Bangla Road, which is like the sort of the walking street here in Phuket, then you're reading plenty into it. Let's see what he says in coming days about infrastructure prospects in Phuket and Phang Nga. Can you explain, Tim, how a party's leader was overwhelmingly voted in by the citizens of Thailand, but another party's representative is then PM? When you say overwhelmingly, just again reiterating what I mentioned at the start of the program, out of 500 MPs, the Move Forward Party got 151. Now, overwhelming would be a majority, in other words, 251 MPs. But they didn't get a majority. They didn't get that 251. So they lost that opportunity of their representative automatically becoming the PM. Under the current charter, then other parties can then cobble together a coalition, go to a joint sitting of Parliament and get a vote of confidence. And that's what happened this week. The Pheu Thai Party were able to pull together a coalition, and the joint sitting of Parliament pretty much overwhelmingly voted for Seta Thavisin and as the Prime Minister. So that's what happened. It wasn't that they got an overwhelming majority. They just got the highest number of primary votes. And it shocked everybody. And I think a lot of us hope to see Move Forward Party move forward in the future. Firstly as an opposition, and then maybe in the future they'll get another crack at becoming the next Thai government. Let's hope that they've learned from everything that's happened over the past 3 months and can build on their current support. Richard Townsend, a very long one. I'll just start and see where we go. For me, I see this as a conservative government with just a few added popular items, likely like the 10,000 baht fund for all Thai adults. There will be some goodies for farmers, as this was the core of the party's base. That's correct. Interesting, the appointment of the new National Police Chief is being postponed till the new government takes office. I don't think that's interesting. I think that because the appointment came at the time that the new government was coming in, I think it's just basically a sort of a common courtesy to just let the new government have, I suppose, at least a comment or speak to some of the people over such an important appointment as the next Commissioner of Thai Police. I think you can probably put your money on Surachat Hakpan. I believe Thailand will enter a period of stable, if not slow, growth. Tourist numbers will increase and hopefully inflation will slow. So thank you very much, Richard Townsend. Have you heard from Nick recently? I wondered how he's getting on in the UK. No, I haven't heard from him, Graham C. I must contact him over the next week and I'll pass on the report. But he's studying in the UK at the moment and I'm sure he's having a great time. But we do miss him here at TNT. How's your sciatica and how are you treating it? Yeah, when I was young, I used to hear old people talking about, oh, my sciatica, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll never have a problem with that. But I have had sciatica, and sitting in this seat is actually the very worst thing I can do for it. When I'm walking around, no problems at all, but sitting, even lying down, putting any pressure on my bottom and my lower back, it does start to act up. Basically, it's pressure on the sciatic nerve running through my lower back and it propels pain, nerve pain, down, in my case, down my left leg. So I've been taking paracetamol at night just to get a good night's sleep. It certainly alleviates most of the nerve pain. So big tick on that one. But I don't take anything stronger. I've been doing a lot of stretching. Now currently I'm driving at least every second day, sometimes every day, spending an hour in the car from my house in Phuket up to the new houses up in Phang Nga, and sitting in the car seat for 2 hours a day up and back is probably the worst thing I can do for my sciatica. So I'm really looking forward to getting up there and not doing so much driving, being able to spend a bit more time exercising, walking around, strengthening my core, and I think it's going to go away by itself. That's about the best I can do explaining that one. CA 1954, those two houses you intend to make into Airbnb, didn't Thailand come up with some rules about this to protect the hotel industry? Yes, I mean, you do sort of have to go through some sort of registration process, too complex to describe at the moment. But Airbnb's flourishing in Thailand, despite the fact that the hotel industry was trying to pretty much close it down. That's failed, and you don't have to have a hotel registration unless you have. Someone's going to correct me, but I think you have to have at least 7 rooms and 20 guests. I think it's something like that. That's the threshold. So if you just want to rent an extra house or a room in your house, the government's just not interested in doing anything about that, and they're the things that are doing well on Airbnb at the moment. Threats to blocking Facebook in Thailand are worrisome for Thai online businesses. TikTok may not be a good option. Well, TikTok is very, very popular at the moment in Thailand. Facebook and TikTok, they're the two big social media platforms. Instagram and Twitter. Instagram next, Twitter a long way down. X, sorry. I don't think Twitter's going to get much more support here in Thailand than it already has. It doesn't seem to fit the vibe here in Thailand for whatever reason. I mean, it's just turned into a shit show the last 6 months, my God. My feed in Twitter, X, just seems to be getting worse and worse. Such that I just don't think I'm going to bother with it anymore. Yeah, I think the threats to block Facebook in Thailand are just threats. It would be a revolution if they closed down Facebook in Thailand. Worse than the protests you might see from the political situation. There would be riots on the streets if they tried to close down Facebook. I'm sure they'll sort that out. It was involving a lot of scams and things being posted on Facebook, causing a lot of problems and a lot of loss of money for thousands of people. But what can Facebook do? I mean, if the post looks legitimate, how do they know if it's a scam or not? I think it's really up to the government to educate people using these platforms to ask more questions and check on a post before they start spending money or sending money to people. I bought shoes on Facebook about 2 years ago. It was clearly a scam. In retrospect, I re-looked at the post and thought, how did I fall for that? So yeah, you can fall for these scams quite easily. Scrap the nationalistic Phuket Marine Department, Thai captain only ruling, and get the commercial marine industry moving. says Gruntmax. That might be a good topic. I'll get Sean in from 5-Star Marine and have a talk to him about that. Scrap the nationalistic Phuket Marine Department Thai captain only. Look, there are many, many different jobs in Thailand which are for Thai people only. And Thai captain only, it's a bit like saying taxi driver should be Thais only, which they are. What do you open up to foreigners? I mean, Thailand does very well to protect its own employment situation. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen, Grunt Max, but maybe a topic that I can address along with others with Sean. And thank you for your question today. Sorry, your comment. What's up with Thaksin? As far as I know, he's still in the police hospital. He hasn't been moved to a Shinawat-owned hospital as rumoured in Thai media. And as far as I know, he's being treated for high blood pressure and ischemia, I think was the other one. So, yeah, I don't think we've got much to report on Thaksin at the moment until he's shuffled off either back to the Remand prison, to another prison, or to another hospital. But at the moment, he's still being treated in the Bangkok Police Hospital. He was a former policeman. Try adjusting your settings. Big road work from Takua Pa up north. Yes, so Takua Pa is on the way to Khao Lak, heading from Phuket, heading north. That road from Phuket up to Ranong, which I've done many times, takes about 5 hours. Very nice road. Most of it's not a coastal road, but still a very nice road anyway, and they are spending a lot of money in making it at least 2 lanes in both directions. I used to go to Ranong doing border runs because it was the closest border to Myanmar. So you'd drive 5 hours up to Ranong. You'd get on a shaky old long-tail boat, about a 30-minute trip across a body of water, and you're in Myanmar. And then you'd get off the boat, a whole lot of touts just waiting for the foreigners, and you'd have a crisp, I think it was $100 US bill. No, it couldn't be. Maybe a $20 bill. I can't remember now. But it couldn't have any folds in it. It had to be crisp. And you'd go up to this little building, walk inside, hello, and give them I think it was $20 US. And they'd put a stamp, and off you'd go, back on the boat, back to Ranong. Used to do that many times. Slightly out of focus, Tim. Well, that can only improve the situation, I would have thought. So apologies if I touch the screen and do that. Does that help the focus? I don't know. It's an iPhone pointing at me at the moment. Morning all. A bit late today. Scott D. What else have we got here? Thank you very much to Matty, and a very kind donation all the way from the United States. Very informative chat, says Matty. Thank you for joining us, Matty, and I really appreciate your support there. I missed a super chat a few weeks ago and I was mortified. Felt shocking. David Stevenson says, question, not sure if you've said recently, but how is Nick doing over in England? Okay. So I think I addressed that. I don't know. Haven't spoken to him for a couple of months. Spoke to his father about 2 months ago. No news is good news. I think he's doing well, but I'll see if I can catch up with him during the week. Hello, Dina. And we will, you can't see it on your screen. You're going to come and say hello? Couldn't care less. So, yeah, I will try and catch up with him and pass on the news. What kind of border runs, Tim? Oh, that's when I used to have, it was a B visa, a non-immigrant B visa. And it was one that you had to do, you didn't do a 90-day report to immigration. You used to have to leave the country every 90 days. Now, that suited me fine. I used to sometimes go up to Ranong and do the sort of the day border run. Other times I'd have a weekend in Penang. Both very cheap to do. For Penang, there was a flight, and it takes about an hour to fly to Penang in Malaysia, and used to enjoy the food around Georgetown and then fly back. So they're the border runs that I was doing. It was a non-immigrant B visa, but I had to leave the country every 90 days. I can't remember why, but that's what happened. Gruntmax, it's not about employment. I do not consider tourist vessels as the commercial marine industry. Okay, yeah, there's been plenty of talk over the years. Why is that not working? Oh, there it's working again. Yeah, about getting more boats into what is a very beautiful part of the world, very serviceable waters, and 2 or 3 very large marinas in the area that can service some of these boats. We probably need a better port in Phuket. Grunt Max, you clearly know a lot more about it than I do. Maybe send me an email with some of the main problems and your grievances, and I might be able to chase up a few people and see if I can get some thoughts on that matter. They wanted my whiskey, Ranong Border Run, said Prasanna. Tim, you are gorgeous, says Craig. When I'm out of focus, yes, maybe. Okay, Ranong Border Run to the casino island was way better than to the mainland. Never did that one, CK, but thank you very much for your comments. Oh, Grunt Max is back again. Clearly, this is a big issue for you. As an owner-operator, would you invest $3 million USD in a commercial vessel run by an unknown, incompetent Thai captain? No way. I suppose that's a decision to make. Don't invest the money. They're the rules currently. So something just flew over the balcony there. The cleaner's having a good clean. Hope it wasn't a guest or anything. So look, thank you, Grunt Max. I think you need to give me a bit more background because I'm not really intellectually able to respond to your comments or questions. I don't know enough about the issue. Adjust quality and settings to higher quality. Obviously, some people are getting a low stream quality. It's going out perfectly well from this end. I apologise if you are having problems. I don't think the problem is from this end. My internet bitrate is still high, so I think it's okay. All right, a few more questions, and then we'll sort of head off and do our Saturday. John, help. How do you deal with wild soy dogs about to attack you? Well, not just wild soy dogs, but dogs anywhere in the world. Dogs are dogs are dogs. They operate in packs. If one dog starts being aggressive, some of the others that aren't the alpha dog may well indeed follow. I know people who walk around carrying a stick. The best thing is to stand still, I believe, not to run. If you run, the dogs will probably pursue you. But you need to be aware if you're in places where there are soy dogs. They are, at the end of the day, domesticated wild dogs, and they may be inclined to attack you. Carrying a stick may help, although I'm not really into inflicting pains on dogs, but if they attack you, I think a swift belt across the waist of the dog might tend to discourage it. I don't know. I certainly don't condone any sort of violence on animals, but yeah, it's probably up to you to try and avoid being in a situation where you could be attacked by a dog. Around this area, there are plenty of dogs, but they tend to be sort of taken in by various families and cared for. And here in Phuket, at least, most of them have been neutered due to the work of the Soy Dog Foundation, who routinely go around and neuter dogs and packs of soy dogs. Time to spend the weekend with the family, says Frank. Sunny day in Bang Chang. Some overcast, great beach weather. Thanks for the show, Tim. Now just making sure I haven't missed anybody. On this first day, the unelected PM decides unneeded airport upgrades in a multi-year tourism downturn is a priority. Well, if you're a construction tycoon, that would be a priority. Business as usual. Alex, wow, you've turned your cynicism up to 10. He is an elected Prime Minister. As I said, you may not like the way that he was elected, but he was elected constitutionally by the 2017 Constitution. And he was appointed by a joint sitting of the Parliament, fairly unanimously, not unanimously, but he got more than a majority. So I don't think you can call him an unelected PM. Depending on where you are in the world, different places have different methods of electing a head of state or a prime minister. The way that he was appointed here by a joint sitting of Parliament is a bit what happens, I know, in Australia with the appointment of a person called the Governor-General, who represents the Crown in England, because Australia is still constitutionally connected to the UK, although of course in practice it operates quite independently these days. But still we have a Governor-General who operates as the head of state, and that person is appointed by a joint sitting of the two parliaments. And we've had some very, very fine Governors-General over the years in Australia. Thailand's economy is spluttering, says by Mikola1. I don't know. Is it sputtering? I don't think, just going out on the roads here, things that most of the condos are all sold. There's building activity. The roads are full. The tourists are arriving. I think there will be some sort of downturn, particularly when you're relying on Russians and Chinese to be your number one and number two tourism market. But there's nothing stopping people from the US, the UK or Europe from coming here, except for probably the high airfares and perhaps the Thai baht in relation to their currency. But there's nothing much Thailand can do certainly about the airfares. And as suggested by one of our viewers earlier, maybe there's not a lot that can be done by the Thai government unless they're very active about it. And if they do things to lower the Thai baht, there would be some flow-on effects that may affect the Thai economy adversely. Thai legislation changes every 10 minutes. Forget any plans. Does it? I don't know. As I said earlier, everything old is new again, and same but different. Give me some examples of Thai legislation changing every 10 minutes. I think generally when it comes to things like retirement, business practices, most visas, yes, I mean we do have some known changes to the Thailand elite visa coming up, but they've been well telescoped, and the changes won't necessarily stop the Thailand elite program. It will adjust the programs and some of the costs and the qualifications. But I'm not sure if that's a change. That's more of an evolution. But look, Grunt Max, obviously I think you need to send me an email and address all these changes every 10 minutes and some of the other issues in relation to operating boats around Phuket, because I'm not equipped to answer your questions. So you're shouting at me and I don't really have any response. Brought an electric car because of you looking at the Atto 3, but I settled on the MG4 and it's absolutely fabulous. Sleeveless in Siam. Interesting that. I've had a drive of the MG4. What a pocket rocket. I mean, that thing is extraordinary. I was very impressed with the MG4. I would have thought, wouldn't it be great as a coupe with a fold-down top? That would be a real MG. I'd love to see that. A topless MG4. I'm sure somebody's probably already done it. Because I've got my Mercedes to pick up people from the airport. I've got my old Honda HRV, which I'm going to be renting out to people, probably my guests. So I am looking at a passenger car. Imagine having 3 cars, but something just for me to toddle around Phang Nga, do the shopping, and go on a few drives. And I was looking just recently at possibly getting an MG4, because they look, after having a drive in them, a lot of fun. Really well put together, not expensive, and a really nice car to drive. Certainly if you want performance, it really has got some of the most astonishing performance I've seen in a small car. And it's fairly silent, except for the road noise, the tyre noise, and just the sort of the whir of the electric engine. It's quite an amazing sensation. I was very surprised. I'm not rich, says Thomas, but have no problems visiting Thailand no matter the baht. Rate might be high, says Frank in Thailand, but the inflation is low, so you can still buy the same amount as in the past with the low Thai baht, but higher pricing. Please consider hitting the like button, says Scott D. Thank you very much, Scott. Any photographs showing the progress of the Love Shacks, says Street Glide. I put a couple of pictures on my own Facebook page, but I'm sort of waiting till it's all finished. I did take plenty of video before we started, taken a bit of video between, but it's going to be a fairly major before and after, which I do look forward to revealing. Another thing that I found out in the past couple of weeks after renting these two properties is that during September and October, the local fishermen do their it's the shrimp run up and down past the coast of Turtle Beach, and the local fishermen go out and do their shrimp farming each day and bring them back, and just out the front of my two properties they lay out the shrimp to dry during the day. Good old sun drying. And it smells. Doesn't smell particularly good. Depends where the wind's coming from and how much wind there is. But there'll be some days, I think in the next 2 months, where I might think, might keep the doors closed today. So that is going to impact on my business. Worst case scenario, there might be 2 months a year where I can't rent out the properties. Or I could double the price and call it a Thai cultural experience. Come and watch the fishermen and their shrimp farming. So I'm not sure how to cope with that. I'm not particularly worried about it. Might just keep the doors closed, take people on day visits to places where they're not doing shrimp farming out outside the front door. Anyway, that was just something I found out. Interesting, the neighbours or the people renting the property didn't mention that to me before. But I'm not really complaining. I don't know how much of a problem it's going to be, but it's only for 2 months a year. Steve said it's only 1 month, but we'll see what happens over the next 2 months in regards to that. But they're coming along really well. The air conditioning's been going in this week. The painting's almost finished. So probably by the end of this week, I'd say I might have some photos for you. Treat it with yoga, talking about my sciatica. Yeah, I'm doing plenty of stretching. So, my own version of yoga, I suppose you could say. Swim, swim, swim. That's about it. Let's see if there's any final comments. Good show, Tim. Have a good Saturday. Says James, my Ben's World. I fended off dogs and monkeys with my cane. Carrying a stick is always a good idea. Yeah, you don't want to be bitten for sure. AJF, great show as always, Tim. Look forward to being in Thailand next week and watching it from my hotel. Where are you staying, AJF? Who's looking after your house in Airlie Beach? Tim, your information's been so helpful. Thank you, DT. Bronson says, careful, folks, there's rabies in Thailand. I think it's a minor problem, but yes, look, there is rabies, and if you are bitten by a dog, you would routinely go to a doctor and have a rabies shot. You don't want to be bitten by a dog. Not good for the dog, not good for you, and possibility of rabies, but you'd certainly be able to tell a rabid dog before it got too close to you. How can I change my THT chat name? I don't know, Gunner. I have no idea. I'm sorry. John Swift. Thailand had a choice. Trains, planes or automobiles. Automobiles are increasing fast per year. Eventually the roads will be gridlocked. Hope Thailand doesn't depend on planes too much. Lance Link. Talking about marijuana laws. Yes, something that's going to be coming up in the next couple of months. Things that are already on the books that will be discussed by this new government. They are going to be, I think, having some sort of plebiscite. There's going to be community consultation, government consultation, internal political discussions about adjusting the 2017 constitution or coming up with a new one. That's definitely going to start in the next 6 months. I think the Conservative parties who are part of the coalition will try and talk it down, saying, no, everything's fine. We don't need a new constitution. But the fact that we've had to wait 100 days to get a new Prime Minister in Thailand is partly due to some of the limitations in the current constitution. So if nothing else, I'm pretty sure they'll try and clarify the election of a government and a Prime Minister after the vote is held with the people. So other things that will be on the books, I'm pretty sure there'll be a Cannabis Act, and that they will try and codify the situation with this removal of cannabis from the Category 5 drug list in Thailand. That happened on June the 9th last year, and since then it's just been a complete free-for-all because there hasn't been an act, a parliamentary act, to give police and community leaders any guidance on how to run that situation. So you can see not so much cracking down, but certainly clarification. An article yesterday from Pattaya News, I think a writer called Barry Kenyon was saying, nothing much is going to change. I think there will be a winding back. I think there will be probably a closure of most of the retail side of the cannabis world. And I think it'll be restricted to medicinal use only. Having said that, I'm sure that will be abused, and that people who enjoy smoking or using cannabis will continue to do so no matter what the laws and regulations are. But I certainly see there'll be some sort of winding back from the current situation, because just about all the parties in the coalition, except for one, were dead against, were basically saying before the election that they were going to recriminalise cannabis. I'm not sure if it's going to be recriminalised, but I think we'll see a walking back of the current situation, which I think in most people's eyes is pretty much out of control at the moment. And the other thing on the books that I think will come forward will be the civil registration for same-sex marriages, and indeed a full change to the Marriage Act allowing same-sex marriage in Thailand. I think that's going to appear over the next 6 months as well. So there's some legislative changes that I see already on the books from last year, and things that I think will be adjusted and passed by the new government here in Thailand. And just very quickly, swim and hydrotherapy exercises. Thank you, the Queensland Tiger. Pot grows in the streets in Patong, probably. Thanks for a top show, Tim, says Vince. The consultation should have been done before the deregulation in the first place, says KJ. You're absolutely 100% right. The public health minister, with the powers he had, unilaterally decided to take cannabis off the Category 5 drug list. Didn't have to be passed by Parliament, and he did it in a sort of a capricious way for his own various reasons, and Thailand has suffered what could have been a good opportunity. He's sort of squandered it by causing just a total mess. That's okay, Tim. I know the right person, not really for the press. Thanks for the offer of help. Grunt Max, I'm sure you're way ahead of it more than me. I'm happy to publicise it, but I'm not really knowledgeable about all the issues you're talking about. You can be SOL changing your rental in Thailand. You can be SOL. Many landlords will keep a significant chunk of your deposit over a tiny blemish on a wall of furniture. There's no tribunals here. You're right, Alex. You're absolutely right. So you need to develop a relationship with your landlord, a good relationship, and hope that you'll get your deposit back. I've been living here for 3.5, nearly 4 years. I'll soon find out whether I get my deposit back, but I'm pretty sure I will. So it's all really, buy beware, caveat emptor. And Thai Nor's Times, here we go. Tim's dreaming again. What am I dreaming about? Please tell me. And Michael DiCaprio, Tim, I lost all interest in cannabis since it's been made legal. I think there's something to be said for that. It was sort of more popular perhaps when it was, don't tell anybody. But now it's everywhere. People have sort of lost interest in talking about it. But I don't know. I don't know about the usage. I don't know if more people are smoking it or using it than there used to be. I have no idea. Okay, so that's about it. Oh, good heavens, nearly an hour and a half of me yakking. I'm going to go and give my voice a rest. The washing machine's on spin dry. The cleaner wants to get in and vacuum the lower floor here. And I'm sure you've got much more important things to do, but it's been great having you here for the past hour and a half. I'm very grateful for your ongoing support. We've got Grumpy Old Men tomorrow out and about at a restaurant. Not sure if it worked or not, but I'll let you be the judge. And I'm probably going to head up to the beach houses today and just do a bit more painting. But it's been great for the past hour and a half. Oh, you got a like? Please subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, I'm not going to send you emails. It doesn't cost you anything, but wow, really helps me with Mr. YouTube. So do that, and I'll see you either tomorrow on Grumpy Old Men or back on our news program on Monday.